Hi there, I'm Cher, and this is Diary of a Pen Nerd. So for today's video, I wanted to do another painting with ink. I feel like it's been a really long time since we've done one of these, and they're one of my favorites to do. I've also been watching The Bookish Artist, and she does quite a few of these, and she's given me a lot of inspiration. And she also did one where she put ink in watercolor brushes, and so I really want to try that, but that's not what we're doing today. But just shout out to her for you know, all of her cool painting with ink videos. But yeah, and I wanted to do a Virginia bluebell just because I've seen those around a lot on Pinterest. On Pinterest. I don't get to see very many wildflowers where I'm at, but just something fun. And so I have the little sketch here on Kanzen watercolor paper, and we can go ahead and get started. So I've got water and then all of my inks. I was thinking for the actual flowers, I wanted to use Monteverde Malibu Blue, just because I feel like that will be pretty close to the color, especially like watered down, and Diamine Lavender. I also got out Colorverse Night of Myrtle just to maybe like throw in there. For the stem and leaves, I was thinking Ferris Wheel Press Peter Moss. This is also like the only green ink that I have currently, so choices were limited. And then I thought about filling in the background, I don't know if I will do this or not, with Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber, but actually Oyster Hour, or I think. But yeah, that was kind of my thought process. I have a paper towel and some paintbrushes and a little plastic palette. So I guess the first order of business is gonna be filling our palette up. So we'll start with that. So there is our palette already, and you kind of have to just remember which ink is which. So it goes Malibu Blue, Lavender, Night of Myrtle, Peter Moss, Steeped Umber. And we'll set this off over here. And I'm gonna use this brush just for fun. And because I want it to be a lighter blue than the Malibu blue, I'm gonna try and water it down a little bit. And the other thing is I really want to try and keep the dimension of the flower, which is why I'm going to try and paint it in sections. That is actually a lot closer to the color of the actual flowers than I had previously anticipated. So that's really nice. So I actually really like the way my flowers have turned out. Didn't want to make them too dark, but I think the mix of the three inks makes them look very dynamic and interesting, so that's good. And every time I felt like I had a little bit too much ink, I would and not enough water, every time I felt like it was too dark, I would kind of decant some of the ink from my paintbrush over onto my paper towel and get more water on my brush, just to keep it all working as it should be. So I don't know a whole ton about watercolor, although I would really like to learn more. So, quite like these leaves. and I added some Malibu blue to them to kind of try and make them a little bit more dynamic. And by that I mean more interesting than just, you know, the one shade of green. And then I also ended up getting kind of this cool effect. And so I quite like that, actually. And how that all turned out. And now we can go ahead and use this to make a background. I don't know if this is gonna like ruin it or not. And there we go. As you all just saw, as I struggled to do that, my solid wash skills leave some to be desired, but I actually like being able to see kind of some of where the sections are and things like that. And I think it gives it a cool, maybe like weathered look to the final painting, which is nice. I could go in and add in the little, I don't know what those are called, but the little pollen things inside of the flowers, maybe with like a felt tip marker or something. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this piece turned out, and it's just like a really quick sketch for me, and just a nice way to decompress and have some fun playing around with some pens and inks. My palette I'll leave to dry just like this, and then I can like rehydrate it later with more water and be able to use up the rest of these inks, because I always pour out way more than I need. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this fun little paint with me, and thank you for tuning in to another transmission. If you liked it and you want to stick around, you can hit the subscribe button, and I'll have the next chapter of my story out soon. Bye for now. Love, share.